Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So I promised you guys I would do better on making more videos. So someone requested that I do like my makeup and not speed anything up. So I will try to do it quickly, but also talk to you guys, kind of explain like what I do. And I'm gonna do like, for the most part, like my normal makeup. And also I'm gonna do my hair because I usually do them both at the same time. And my hair is freshly washed. So, I just washed it with the same shampoos that are in my hair highlight on my page. And I like this brush. It's like a wet brush, but it's kind of gross. But it has like the holes in it, so when I blow dry, I feel like it just blow dries faster. So I'll go ahead and do my hair real quick. So this is the T3 Micro 1.5 or 1.5, I think, with the clamp. I've been liking this one lately just because I feel like it's giving me looser waves and not so curly. And I don't hold it on my hair for too long. And I just check and make sure if it's too hot. And I just kind of move my way down the last couple inches that I leave out. And I always do my extensions and like the under layer first, because I like to do my extensions and like my actual hair separately. I don't like to curl them together. That was like a tip they gave me at the salon, so I've just been trying to stick to it. Obviously, like my under layer, I just do with it because there's not like a whole lot under there. And then I just let them cool down in the back. I'll speed this up because this part will take forever. So in the front here, I like to, instead of doing it this way, I feel like this part of the barrel is hotter. So sometimes if I want the top of my hair to be a little curlier, I'll do it the opposite way. And especially in the front pieces, because I want this top part to be like bouncier and not like flat. And then you guys know I've done this trick so many times, but how I get like a little cowlick because my hair is so flat. I always will kind of come to the top here, do a little bit of like a lift, and I hold it and I let it do that for a little while. I do the same like right here. Be really careful, I've burned my forehead. It's a lot easier with like a 1-inch barrel. If you have that as well, I would do it with that. But then I leave these here for a little while, and then I'll eventually kind of brush them down, and just makes a nice little, I don't know, just with my forehead, I feel like it looks better. So I've kind of always done it. I think since like high school, I've done that with my hair. But anyways, and then I will do the rest, and I will usually twist it up and maybe flatten this bottom part a little bit. But that is pretty much the gist. While these cool down, I'll do the other side, and then I'll chat through makeup because I feel like hair is just not as interesting. But I'll be back when the other side's done. All right, so I'm all done. While I let all the curls hold, sorry Biscuit, I'll just do a little bit of hairspray because this usually scares her. So I'll link all of this as well below, along with all the makeup that I'm gonna do. But I use hairspray just a little bit on the day that I wash my hair. I don't really like to overload my hair with product because I feel like then by day 2 and 3, I just want to wash it. Whereas if I keep it semi like the least amount of products, I feel like my hair lasts. I don't need to wash it as often. Next, I'm just gonna put a little bit of wave spray. Sometimes I'll do dry shampoo, but since I just washed my hair today, I have the craziest hairline. I don't understand. It's like not even straight. It's just like a big mess. But anyways, so I'm gonna use some of this wave spray. I like to do something that's like a little more natural-ish and not like a bunch of sprays, but just more of like this kind of stuff. So I'll put that in it. Brush out all the curls. Biscuit's like done with me. But pretty much it. Sometimes I'll just clean up a couple of the curls if they're not holding well. And a little bit more of that. I like this top part of my head to be like more fluffy than the bottom because I feel like it just makes my head shape look better. Don't know. Okay, so let's get into makeup. So I thought maybe, and I was gonna do a Q&A, but it's hard for me to switch back to my stories. So I think what I'll do is how I got started in jewelry making. If you don't know, I own a company, J. Nicole Designs. It's jewelry, clothing, home decor, kind of all the things. So I guess I'll just kind of give you guys a backstory on that, and I'll do another video on how I became a blogger, because that one I need to like sit down and take notes so that I don't miss anything. Jewelry is a little more simple. And I'll also talk about the products that I'm going to be using. So I got a smaller version of this pore primer. I never really was into primers until I found ones that were better for my skin. So I have combo skin, and this one I feel like just creates a good layer on my skin, but it doesn't make me look oily or too dried out. And this one, I just really, really like it. So, and I don't put it all over my face. I just use a little bit, and I pretty much do it on my T-zone because I feel like that's where I have like wrinkles and the most pores, like especially my nose. So I'll do kind of this whole like middle section, and sometimes I go over my eyes, but oh, and it just makes your skin feel so like a baby. I can't explain it. It's just so good. I like used up the other little mini one like in a couple weeks. I went through it. I was like putting it all over my face. I loved it so much. So since it's winter, I usually wear oil on my face, and so I try not to use like a super heavy, I don't know if this has oil in it or not, but this has been like a pretty good little CC cream. I've never been into CC creams until recently because I just want less cakiness on my face. This is the color Natural Medium. And so I learned my lesson the hard way to not use a lot. So I'm just going to put like that much. And we'll see where we go. But I like this color. My skin changes color so often. Like if I go out in the sun today, my face will be a different color and I won't be able to use this. So I have so many different foundations because I just don't know what color my skin will be. It likes to change because my skin just loves the sun. Okay, so let's get into jewelry. I, in college, studied apparel merchandising management. So basically how to run your own store, how to be a buyer in the fashion industry. Didn't really tailor it towards jewelry. So I was taking a lot of internships. I did like 6 internships in college, and I played volleyball. Full-time student, full-time athlete, and I just was determined to take internships because I just didn't know the fashion industry is so broad. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I started out with internships through my school. They had little things you could sign up for internships on, ones that, you know, people would send to our school and be like, oh, we need interns. So I did one for buying. I hated it. It was in downtown. It just wasn't for me. I can't do all the like haggling, and I don't know, just wasn't for me. I learned a lot about wholesale, so that's why eventually my jewelry I did wholesale for a while. What else did I do? That lady, Mary Brennan, she was actually like weirdly like my mom in the fashion industry because she really liked me and I really liked her. It wasn't a good fit for like what I wanted to do. And I think she wanted to groom me in a sense for that. So she would kind of just keep me around to like let me learn stuff. So then I eventually did road sales for her one summer because I was determined to stay in LA every summer. I did not want to go home to Bakersfield. Sorry if you love Bakersfield, but I did not. So I would try to get internships because that was my parents' like rule. If you got an internship or a job for the summer, then you didn't have to like come home and work for my dad. So that was like big motivation to not want to go to Bakersfield. So then I did another internship. Let me think. I did her road sales. That's my second internship. I did an internship for Pura Vida bracelets, which I don't know if you remember. I actually did a collab with them last year or the year before. And so that was cool to see that like come full circle. This is like a contour cream. Again, I'll tag it in the caption. So I did an internship for them for one summer, these are out of order, but these were kind of like the ones that I did. I did one. Okay, so then when I was working for that Mary Brennan lady, she introduced me to someone who needed someone to house sit in Beverly Hills. And I was like a yes, everything. I would say yes to any job because I wanted money, I wanted experience. I just was in one of those, you know, times of my life where didn't want to say no because I just never knew where it was going to lead me. So I house sat for one of her friends in Beverly Hills. Well, then that lady owned a stationery company. So then I started helping her with her stationery company when she came back. And then, you know me, I get to talking to anyone and I just love talking. So she was like, oh, she said something about New York. And I was like, oh, I've never been. Like, I really want to go. And she was like, oh, like, I have a friend who works at a jewelry firm in New York. Like, do you want me to see if they have any internships? And I was like, yes. And internships, by the way, in the fashion industry are not paid. So I had to convince my parents real hard how this was going to benefit me and like, please pay for it all. And like, I will try to find a job when I get there. And I had just turned 21. So they were like, oh God, do we really want to release you into New York, you know, when you're newly 21? And I don't know. And I don't know, by the grace of God, my parents said yes, and the internship accepted me because I knew her. I didn't have any experience in jewelry, and I was kind of like, I will do anything. So next I set everything. So yeah, I packed my bags, and someone from Bakersfield saw on Facebook that I was like, oh, I got an internship in New York, like I can't wait. And someone was like, oh, like me too, where are you staying? And I was like, oh God, I didn't even like think about a place to stay. And it was a friend from my like junior high, and he was like, oh, I'm staying in the dorms at NYU. And I was like, oh, cool. So that solved my problem, and I applied for that. Well, then right when I did that, another person from Bakersfield was like, hey, I'm going to New York too, like, do you want to be roommates? And I was like, yeah. So we signed up to be roommates in New York. And then we ended up hanging out with him because he was a couple doors above us. And then he had 2 roommates. So we all just became like this little family for the summer. And it was like so fun. And so anyways, I went to that internship. So the first like, let's see, I was there for like almost 4 months. The first 2 months, I pretty much just did all the bitch work, and, you know, I didn't have any experience in anything, and I didn't really have any interest in like making jewelry. I was just there to be in New York. So I was just sorting beads, basically a big bucket of beads that are all different, and I had to sort through them. It took all day, and I was like, whatever, and I was pretty much hungover most of the days anyways. So and then one day, one of the designers, or they had designers that basically create lines, and then like Free People, Urban Outfitters, J. Crew, the buyers would come in and they would set it all up in the showroom, and the buyers would like buy stuff to put into production. And one of the designers got fired, and I was like, and the owner was like, do any of you guys know how to make jewelry? And all the interns, like the other 2 were like, yeah. And I was like, nah. She's like, all right, well, let's do like a competition. Whoever, you know, you guys all make lines, and whoever's gets bought, you know, by the end of the week or whatever, you can start designing. And so one of the interns there, she had like a full-blown jewelry company back then. So I was like, oh God, she knew how to solder and everything, and I did not. So she and I kind of worked together because the other intern, she had another internship, so she couldn't like full-time be there. So me and the other girl pretty much worked together to like create lines, and we did, and I would kind of design things, she would solder it, and we would kind of just go back and forth. It was really fun. She was really nice. I wish I had stayed in touch with her, but if you're watching this, hit me up. I'm gonna do some blush. I don't know why I always do my face first. I don't like to do my eyes first. I don't know why. So anyways, we created a line like 1 week, and we cranked it out. I think we ended up making like 3 lines because we wanted like, we had so much time, and we stayed like 12-hour days, and it was the most I had cared about an internship probably ever, because I shopped at Free People and stuff. So I was like, of course this would be sick. So we made lines. So this is like almost towards the end of our internship. And when Free People and Anthro came in, we couldn't go in, which was like sad, but we got to like dress the whole showroom and kind of do all that, which was really cool. So I learned how to like dress mannequins and dress all the necks and like see what would look good together. And then we knew that they bought some pieces, we just didn't know what. So anyways, fast forward, I left New York to come back because I had one more year of college left, and I was on the volleyball team, so I wanted to finish out because I was like crying to my parents, please don't make me go back, I want to stay here. And they were like, no, you can pay for it yourself. And I was like, oh, I'll transfer to FIT. But like, if you haven't been in New York, it is expensive to live there. And while I was there, I randomly got a job with Nike, working events. I would work just random anywhere I could work. I was trying to like make money as well, so I pretty much was like never sleeping between drinking, working, and interning, which was fine. I was 21. You can bounce back really quick. So I came back for school. So when I came back, I was like, oh gosh, I actually really enjoyed making jewelry. I only knew the basics. I didn't know how to solder or anything. Still don't. So then I got an internship. I geared my internships more towards jewelry. So luckily I had met another jewelry designer when I was at my first internship as a buyer. And so I remember reaching out to her and I was like, hey, do you need any interns? And she was like, yeah. I can't remember, Rossmore was her company. It's still around. So anyways, I would help her and she kind of taught me how to solder, but like not really a whole lot, which was fine. So I worked with her for a little while. And then after that I graduated and I started working at Trader Joe's because I had a friend who worked there and he was like, yeah, I'll like get you an interview. And pretty much the only reason I got hired is because I was an athlete and they knew I would work hard. I had zero experience in grocery, and which was fine. I loved Trader Joe's. I feel like I really got a good work ethic from there because it's like a hustle, you know, and you gotta like maneuver around customers. And anyways, that's a whole nother story in itself. But I love Trader Joe's and I still shop there to this day. So you guys know I have like no bad blood. I worked there for 2 years and I really missed making jewelry. So what I started doing is going to Michael's with any extra $10 I would have, which working at Trader Joe's doesn't pay very much when your rent is really high. So any extra money I would have, I would put it towards that. And started just slowly buying like supplies from Michael's, making like a necklace. I would put it up on Etsy, and then whenever someone would buy it, I would take that money and put it straight into buying like more supplies, and then etc. So my business experience in school, like business stats, business buying, business everything, markups, all of that, I learned from school. So a lot of my school does apply to what I do now. Let's see. Oh, where's my eyeshadow? I'll use this. It's fine. Sometimes I use my blush, either this darker one or this other one, for my eyeshadow because I just feel like it brings your whole look together. All right, so then I started making jewelry, and I still was living in Pomona, and I had some friends that were still in the area who were younger than me, still in college, so I would make them take photos of me and my jewelry. So that's kind of what started like me posting on Instagram on my personal account as well. Because I was shooting outfits and I would go to thrift stores and buy outfits and wear it with my jewelry, and all of that. And then that kind of like took off in itself. So I was semi self-taught. I taught myself how to wire wrap, which used to be a really big thing for me. Wire wrapping stones, you know, just asking questions at all my internships and learning how to do it from them. A lot of the other stuff is honestly just self-taught, like product shots. I built my whole website by myself. I didn't take any classes on that. We pretty much only learned like Photoshop and Illustrator, but I don't remember any of it. So that was kind of unfortunate, but ooh, it's kind of nice. And like usually with a darker blush, I'll add some to like the inner of my this part. Just gives you a little bit more depth. Like if I'm a little bloated or something, I always add a little bit there. Cute. All right. Oh, and also I use my highlighter once I'm done with that. The same highlighter I used on my face. Right here in the corner of my eye. And I always just kind of bring it to there. So this is kind of leading into why I do what I do now, but it was cool when I went back to college. I remember going to Free People one day and I saw some of the stuff that I had designed and I took photos of it. I don't know where those went, but really cool to see some of the stuff that I had made like in stores. I remember sending them to those girls. I was like, ah, no way, our stuff like got bought and put into production. Anyways, all right, I'll do my mascara and then I'll do my eyeliner. So when I was working at Trader Joe's, I mean, I loved it, and they were wanting to promote me to like work even more hours. I think it was like you could work 30 or 40 hours. They wanted me to work like 50, 60. I was like, and I was nannying as well, on the weekends or days that they wouldn't let me work overtime at Trader Joe's. So then I randomly, I don't remember why, I applied to a job for Free People, and I got it, and I was a store manager there, so I helped open a store, a Free People store in Arcadia, which is like kind of in LA. So driving from Pomona to there was like not very fun. It's about an hour and a half or 3 hours depending on the time of day. So I transferred to a Trader Joe's, the one in Silver Lake, and it's actually one of the highest grossing Trader Joe's like in the whole country. So it was like even more hustle than the first one was, which was like number 2. So I learned even quicker how to like move faster and stock shelves faster and, you know, all this stuff. I was like sweating every day on my shift. I wore a sports bra and I was like there to work. And then I would go straight from the 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. shift there. And then I would go home, change, get cute, go to my Free People job 2 to 10. So I would work both those jobs and try to go to the gym maybe in between. And then I would come home and make jewelry, fill jewelry orders. I basically never slept. I would try to take a photo on my lunch break at Free People because they would let us wear some of the clothes. So then I started getting reposted by Free People because I was working there and I could just like borrow an outfit and then change right out of it after my lunch break. I don't know if that's allowed anymore, but they were all for us wearing the clothing and promoting it. So then I got a photo shoot with Free People one day. They had a bunch of the people who worked at stores. A few people got picked to do like a full-on photo shoot for Free People's Instagram. And I was like, yeah. And so we got paid for it as well for the day. Just normal, you know, whatever you got paid normally. All right, so mascara's done. I don't know if you guys can see. My lashes have been getting really long, which I love. So I did that photo shoot, and once they reposted those photos and like tagged me, I feel like I got so many followers back when like a brand would post you and you would get like their cult following you. So then from that, I started posting my jewelry even more, and it kind of like transferred to my jewelry page as well. And then I worked there for 6 months, something like that. And I was at the point where I was getting a lot of, you know, it's so sad. I would do like 3 posts for $50. Like I was like hustling, like shooting all the time. Blog posts for $50. Like I was like just, you know, but compared to what you'd make at Free People, that's like your whole day's wage. You might as well just be doing that. So I eventually quit Trader Joe's, which they were like, no, you can't leave, like please. And I was like, yeah, it's just, I can't do all of it. And then I trickled off that, and then I did, you know, Free People for maybe another month, and then I was like, I just don't have time. When you know, you don't have time for what makes you a little bit more money, you have to just make the jump, and I did, and I was so scared. I remember leaving work that day, and I was like, holy crap, like I can't believe I don't have to like go to a job every day. But I was already like working my ass off, like never sleeping, that it would at least give me a couple hours more of sleep. So I kept Free People for a couple months, and then I finally was like, I'm sorry, I need to put in my 2 weeks. I did that, and I have been freelance ever since, and that was in 2015. Yeah. And then my jewelry has just stayed consistent for a while, and then ever since quarantine I've had more time to dedicate to it, which I'm really grateful for. And I feel like you guys have noticed that I love it so much more. I went through a lot of moments where I didn't love it, or just because I didn't have time for it, and then I like loved it again, and then, you know, with traveling and stuff, I just didn't have time. But anyway, so that is basically my whole journey with J. Nicole. It had a couple names. It was J. Brunet, which is J, and then Brunet was brunette in French. I joined with a girl for like a minute. Didn't love that, so we went our separate ways, but we had combined our names to Le Vrai Brunet, And then when we separated again, I went to J. Nicole. I just kind of wanted a fresh start. And so J is like J for Jamie, and then Nicole is my middle name. So that's why that became that. Let's see, I want to do a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. But that is pretty much my whole journey. And now Blake works with me and we do all of it together, which I love. And he's so supportive of my jewelry, which not every guy could be, so grateful for that. All right, my lip combo. I get so many questions on this. This is Max Spice. I have been using this since like college probably. It's like the one thing I used to spend my money on, even though I didn't really wear it that much back then, but now I do. So this is like the closest to my natural but a little bit darker lip color, and then I just like this Dior because it's just a good compliment for it. I'm definitely gonna need to sharpen this. I think I have different ones. I have two in here just in case. This one's not much better. But I usually overline my lips a little bit, just in this corner. And just darken the corners, and then the top. I don't go too heavy on the liner because I don't want it to look super obvious. And then I just put this in the middle. And I feel like it just, because I rub my lips so much during the day. Oh. Just a nice little combo. But that is pretty much all of it. We're done. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, it took me, let's see, 2013 is when I graduated college, and now it's 2021. So this many, I mean, it took me like 2 years of working like 4 jobs to pretty much be able to save enough. And my one rule was to save, you would need to have a year's worth of rent, or 6 months, I can't remember, one of the two, to in your savings before you should like full on quit. It's not everybody's rule, it was just my rule, and I had enough. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna put all my eggs in my basket, and if I fail, I fail, but at least I tried. And it was like the best decision I ever made. I probably work more now than I did back then, which is crazy to say, but having the freedom is more important to me than how many hours I work. Like, I love working, so, and I'm like a neurotic workaholic, so it just seemed, why am I gonna work really hard for other people to get money? Like, I should work for myself and get money. So just kind of was a no-brainer for me. I just got really lucky that I got an internship and it happened to be something I fell in love with. Not everybody gets that, you know, in college, but I really was trying everything so that I knew at least what I didn't want to do after college, so that I could eliminate some stuff. But I recommend just trying new things. If it means you get less sleep and you have less of a social life, like, I don't think I even hung out with friends for like 2 years because I was just like, I don't have time. So, you know, you just have to work your ass off, and then you can, you know, get to relax a little bit, or at least have a little more fun, you know, and get to do what you love. So that's my little tidbit advice. But anyways, I will link everything in the caption, including this cute little set. But yeah, and go follow J. Nicole Designs on Instagram because it's always me on there. And subscribe to this and follow to make sure you get to see all my new videos. But love you guys.